Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. I've been asked to do a video actually, which I'm quite keen to do. So been asked to do a video talking about what we should expect in the beta and also how much of what we're seeing is like final, game ready footage. Let's bear in mind that the beta now, we're aiming for May. So, a few months away. We've also got our plans to kind of like, soft launch around September, full launch by the end of the year, which in gaming terms is not a lot of time. Okay, so I've seen extremes in comments. I've seen the extreme of take your time, deliver the best game you can. I'd rather you delivered a brilliant game than try to rush something out. That's my camp, by the way, as well. I will not deliver a crap game. Fact. If we end up being a year late because I felt like the game was crap or people told me the game was crap, then that's how late we'll be. But I am someone who likes to keep to timeframes, and we are working extremely hard to deliver against the timeframes that we're setting because we want to get the game out there. We want you guys to enjoy it. So the other extreme is I'm seeing people say, just let us play now. What you've got is enough. I want to try it. Why don't you release your game? And I guess I default back to the first statement. I won't release a crap game. So what I want to talk to you is about where we're at from what you're seeing so far, and then how hard is it to get to like the end point where we want to get to. So we currently have, this is an interesting one, we currently have a launcher that is working on PC, Mac, Android, iOS. All of the platforms really that we want to launch with, we can already play our version of the game on. And we've got two, I guess, tracks of game development. We've got one which is relatively stable. It's a demo that we're able to show people, show anyone that we want. And then we've got another one where it's like all of the developers are working on it actively on a day-to-day basis, implementing new stuff, which is probably why when you see me show you stuff on these videos, you're seeing the stable-ish version versus seeing the one where there's like loads of new stuff being packed into all the time. So if I go into the experience here on my PC, Alt-Enter already works, by the way, to make it full screen, which I like. Some games don't do that. It's very annoying. And yeah, obviously we've just got like a cinematic, which is done. I'm not showing you it, but it is done, ready to go. We're actually going to live release it at GDC. So there's going to be a launch event at GDC, which is going to be very cool. Keep an eye on our socials for information about that. It's not like a community event, but if you happen to be in the San Francisco area and are around, then damn, we would love for people to come and be involved. We have like a first-time user experience, which is, there's some stuff which is placeholder, and a lot of what you're seeing in terms of lighting, shaders and stuff like that is placeholder, but ultimately we're moving in the right track to be very ready for beta. Like we could release where we're at with first user experience today, and it would probably be enough for beta. I do want to show you something quickly here in terms of visuals, right? So this screen here, we were literally playing with it yesterday, Sham, Dan and I, and we were like, hold on a minute. It feels a bit dark, and I know it's meant to be a bit of a dark feeling, but I do want to see the enemies better. And the equivalent of dropping a light just down a touch in the main build, and suddenly you get quite a different visual. Just by dropping the camera down and angling it a little bit more towards the enemies, I can start to pick up my armor better. I can pick up their armor better. And they're the type of things that we're going to be doing in that lead up to beta. And it's basically called the polish phase. And actually, it's the most important phase because all of the work you're putting in is how you make it look as good as you possibly can without costing you loads of, like, I guess, computing power. Okay, it's just lighting and shaders and stuff. So this first time user experience is working. This is very placeholder, but it's got the right sort of vibe of what we're after. So kind of like choosing your dude. Anything here is placeholder, but it's starting to move in the direction that we want it to be. So the type of vibe that we're looking for from the Sanctum is kind of this vibe, but this is all placeholder stuff. The Godforge is completely placeholder, but again, the vibe starts to feel like we want it to feel. So it won't look like this. This is literally just assets we had lying around to try and like create something in the vibe of what we were thinking. Could change, but ultimately, the experience of crunching a crystal, going through and finding your hero, the type of info and stuff is there. But again, placeholder right now. But a beta, that might be good enough, actually. That might be good enough for the beta, but it definitely won't be the screen we see for launch. At this point, all of these different elements, almost certain, will be in the game, actually. And off the battle sort of screen, again, we like the feel of what we're doing here. It might end up being that it's changed a bit, but ultimately the sort of feel of it feels good. When we get into, you know, like campaign, so for beta, we're hoping to have 5 maps fully done, ready to utilize. At the moment, we've got 2 which are extremely kind of like good to go with the right hero placements and that type of stuff. But yeah, by beta, we want 5. By launch, we want the full 10 for campaign with all of the assets done. And what's interesting is there's different work streams to it. So we have, you know, a group of people creating the assets for a level. We have a group of people then doing like the implementation of those. We have some people doing the landscapes. Then it starts to come together. Then you get like the lighting guys and the like the tech artists in, and then you get the guys in to basically control how the heroes operate. Like there's a lot of different like elements to it. And if you just concentrate on one, you won't have a game, right? So there's a ton of stuff that you have to do. Also with our different heroes, there are the same type of number of different elements to do. So just because we've got a lot of people creating 2D concepts into 3D doesn't mean they're game ready, right? So you kind of have to put in the work right across the game to be able to do this stuff. Let's throw a couple of heroes in here. Some are animated, some are not. And that's kind of what I mean, honestly, in terms of the work. But, you know, the general feel of the game at this point is close to how we want it to feel. But there's still a lot of stuff to tidy up. You know, some of the portraits are not right at this point. Some of the UI is going to change. We've done a big like revamp of it on the main build. So what you're seeing is kind of, I'd say, moving towards maybe 70% there, but not by any means 100%. You know, you can see in someone like a Herc here, the jump smash feels pretty good, and I kind of like it in terms of visual. You know, some of the animations are purely placeholder, like this one, purely placeholder, but still kind of looks pretty cool. And all we've done is we've remapped someone else's animation onto her for the demo at this point, right? So, you know, Guan Yu, again, he looks pretty sweet. His placement is good. He's using someone else's ability, but it doesn't look terrible, you know? So when maybe you see some of the stuff that we're showing right now and it doesn't feel quite right, that's because it's not, and it's not intended to be at this point. But by beta, anything we show you, which will be about 100 of the heroes, that's what we're aiming for beta, they will be pretty clean, like by beta, so by May. And that's why we're kind of like holding off on time, because we want it to feel clean, right? We want it to feel like the experience should feel like. And obviously for launch, we'll then have all of the heroes. So right now, it's kind of like a stand-in. What could a campaign boss feel like? This isn't obviously not finished, right? Look, it looks weird, but it's not far off the type of vibe we want. I feel like we're a bit close to them. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but ultimately it's not a million miles away. And, you know, I think I've said it right the way through. So I'm being as honest with you guys as I can. We're showing you the development cycle, which is unusual. And because of that, you're seeing stuff, you know, a long time before it's finally ready. And therefore, you might be looking at it thinking, it looks close enough to be ready. Why are you pushing back the beta? Pushing back the beta because it's not going to be ready by, you know, April when we thought it would. It's going back a bit because we need more time to polish stuff up and make it feel really good. But a lot of the systems are in, like, you know, being able to put debuffs on enemies, buffs on us, all of that's working. But, you know, it just takes more time to get it done. Like, this guy's dead. Why is he not on the ground? All that type of stuff is little bugs that we need to fix because we don't want that experience for anyone in game. But let's let this bad boy play on auto for a second. Herc brings in the smash. Lady Zoc takes down Cyrus. Guan Yu gets involved as well. And, you know, we move on and we get some stuff. So, you know, that's the experience of gameplay is not a million miles away. in terms of the like roster screen, so we've got some heroes which are more animated than others. I do have a key where I can like properly look at my heroes. I'd say, you know, again, this screen is kind of close, but it's not finished. It's just, you know, the background image is probably going to change. Some of the kind of like characters still need a bit more work. Some of them are posed weird, like, and it's all stuff that we just start to fix, really, you know, and start to improve. But you do start to get a feel for, you know, how some of these dudes are gonna look in game. That's what the demo's doing. The beta, they will be ready to go. There won't be like a hand hovering like this. It's just the way it is. All of this stuff is the polish phase, which tends to come at the end. And, you know, we've got a number of, I don't know if I can show you screens, you know, a number of the different screens, like skills, you know, if I go into upgrade, for example, a number of the UI screens are being worked on, but they're not finished. So, you know, a lot of these things are a work in progress and starting to feel close to the vision that we want, but they're not there yet. So I'm hoping that gives you a bit of a picture. You know, the beta will not be the full game. It will be a number of the dungeons. It will be the campaign. That's probably going to be it for gameplay, but it's more about feel and kind of like exploration of, you know, heroes and leveling them and using them and seeing if they feel good to you. That's the main aim really for us in terms of our beta. So yeah, beta coming in May. That's the plan. As I say, we will launch when we feel like the game really is ready to be launched, and you guys are going to get the best experience from it. And that's kind of just where it's at. So hopefully that was useful. Hopefully that was helpful to see a bit more of what's going on, and perhaps for me to narrate what feels done versus what feels, you know, kind of like, I don't know, maybe 70% there. There you go, guys. That's going to be it for today. I've been Hellhades, or Simon from Fateless, and I'll see you later.